Honey is the only substance found on the planet whose chemical composition is very close to that of human blood. You change a few things, it's almost like blood. Daily consumption of honey can do a lot for your health, especially people who have excess mucus problems. It's very good for your heart, it's good for your brains, it keeps your mind alert, and it's highly energetic.
Let's talk about honey. Why did I just buy this half-gallon jar from the farmer's market the other day? Not just because it tastes amazing, but because it's amazing for you. Here's a few of the benefits that the National Library of Medicine has to say about honey. In short, honey has extensive medicinal properties, especially raw honey, because when it's in its most natural form and it hasn't been tampered with by humans, the better. Studies show that it's used to heal things like eye diseases, wounds, asthma. It also treats diabetes, which seems so polar opposite of what most people would think. The C word, gastrointestinal diseases, cardiovascular health, neurological diseases. Honey has bioactive molecules like flavonoids and polyphenols that provide therapeutic benefits. That's why it's been so valued and cherished for generations. They found honey in the Great Pyramids, and it was still good. That's the craziest part about it. Honey doesn't expire. It stays good forever if it's untampered with. So there's definitely misconceptions about how, well, it's just like a sugary liquid. No, it's not. It's used in clinical settings for a reason, because it works and the benefits of it are insane. And it's freaking delicious. There's a reason why it tastes so good.
If you eat honey every day, here's what will happen to your body. First of all, get ready to have glowing, soft skin like never before. Honey is a powerful natural moisturizer that will deeply nourish your skin and give it a radiant glow. What's more, you'll be able to say goodbye to minor infections and sore throats. Honey's antibacterial and antiviral properties will boost your immune system and protect you from everyday ailments. But that's not all. Honey is a veritable treasure trove of essential nutrients. It's packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that will support your health and help you feel your best. And you want to know the secret to better sleep? Honey is there for you. Just a little spoonful before bedtime, and you'll be plunged into a peaceful, restful sleep. If you love sport, honey will become your best ally. It's rich in natural carbohydrates that will give you a boost before training and help you recover afterwards. Subscribe now for even more health and well-being tips.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 13 through 14. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul when thou hast found it. Then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Now in this lesson, I'm going into honey. Raw honey is more powerful than we think. It's way more powerful than we think. Okay, you've seen the clips before. I put up different clips of different points of how healthy the honey is, man. Raw honey is, man. And we have been conditioned since growing up to what? To think that it's just about being sweet and that's it. Now, it's very sweet. The Lord created it to be sweet on purpose, okay? He designed it that way. So, yeah, it is very, very rich and sweet, okay? But we were programmed to think that that was the only thing, okay? And then as you grow up, unless you grew up in a house who already knew certain things about honey and medicines and herbs and stuff like that, but overall, as you grow up, then you learn more like, hold up, I can use this for tea if I got a cold or sore throat or not feeling well, okay? But I'm telling you here in this lesson that it's way more powerful than that, okay? That's only a crumb of understanding, all right? That's the truth. Now let's go back to Proverbs 24. I'll start back at 13, okay? Make some points. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good. So right here we understand we're supposed to be eating honey, man. Honey should be a part of your diet. Okay, I'm reading it right here. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good. Right, good for you. Okay, good for your health, good for your immune system, etc., etc. Okay, then we get into the taste. It says, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to thy taste. Right, so we know it's sweet. Now check out what verse 14 says. This is the point. So shall the knowledge of wisdom. Okay, so shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. So the way wisdom nourishes our soul, okay, our spirit, the inward man, the way wisdom does that, honey does that in the physical sense, okay, to our body, to our mortal bodies. It helps our mortal bodies, okay, not just it tastes good and that's it. That's a plus, because not everything that's good for your body tastes good. Okay, you have certain bitters that's like, but it's good for your body and for your system. Well, honey is great for your body and it tastes great. Okay, so it has both. All right, let's read it again. Verse 14. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul when thou hast found it. Okay, so what happens, back to the physical, what happens when you find honey? Raw, good honey. You eat it, and it nourishes your body, man. Not just when you got a cold. Let's make it clear. Not just when you got a cough and your nose is running and you say, you know what, I need to go get that honey and go to the store. You're supposed to already have honey at the house. Okay? This should be a daily thing, not just when you're sick. And no, it's supposed to prevent you. So we be waiting too late, man. You get sick, then you do things to prevent it. No, prevention is beforehand. Not after the fact, because you got a migraine or you got a sniffle. All right. So verse 14 proves, okay, it's comparing it, man. Just like wisdom is to your spirit, honey can be that for your physical. Okay. That's enough said there. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16, verse 24. Pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul, which is true. Okay. And health to the bones. You hear that? And health to the bones, which lets you know, going back to the physical, that honey is healthy for your bones, for your system, man, for your whole body. Okay. So we can get the breakdown in the scriptures of why we should eat honey. All right. And then you have certain information that comes out, you know, that makes certain points of what honey can do. Okay. That you can't read in the scriptures. But we have the scriptures to let us know we should be eating honey every day, man. Okay. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3. Let's start at verse 4. And it says, and the same John had his raiment of camel's hair and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. Okay, so John's meat was locusts and wild honey. Now we're going to focus on the honey. We ain't going to talk about the locusts. All right. But think about that, man. John's meat, what he ate was only locusts and honey. That lets you know that honey is very powerful. It has to be. That was one of the main things he ate daily. Okay. Who you think put the spirit on him to do that? The Lord. Okay. Think about that, man. A man's goings is of the Lord. The Lord set up to be this way. Okay, so use your mind here. Use your mind, man. Locusts and honey is all that John ate. That lets you know that honey packs a punch for the body. It will sustain you. It packs a punch for that to be one of the two things that John ate. Okay, that's another point. All right. We should be eating honey daily, not just, like I said, when you got a sniffle. Okay, we live in a society where the food is jacked up, everything's messed up, and you know what? Some of the honey is messed up too. That's why you got to search correctly to get the right honey. Wild raw honey, man. Okay, raw honey. Wild raw honey, man. Okay, do your search. I can't search it for you. You know, I can give you some tips. All right, I might do a second lesson or part 2 just showing different honeys that are good, that I know that are good. Okay, through research and just experience. But other than that, you should be looking, man. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 7. Let's start at verse 14. It says, therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Right, God is with us. Okay, verse 15. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. Okay, butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. Right, man, because honey represents goodness. Okay, goodness. How do we know that? How do we know that honey represents goodness? Let's go to Numbers chapter 14, verse 8. It says, if the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Okay, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Okay, a land of goodness, a kingdom of goodness. Okay, so why would the Lord set it up for us to read it this way and bring in honey when he talks about the kingdom of heaven? Okay, let's pause for a second. Let's think. Why would Yahweh Bashim Yahushai symbolically, okay, put honey as the kingdom? Why would he do that? As the good land, as the land of immortality, that we will live forever. Okay, think about it. Honey does not decay. Honey doesn't go bad. That's another point you can point out to help you in the mind frame, okay, of why, again, you should be eating honey every day. Honey does not go bad. All right. Now, if you get a burger, which you shouldn't at all, okay, but I'll use this for an example. People who get burgers from McDonald's and all these different bad places, and they do experiments, all right, and then years later, the burgers still look the same, the bun is still there, the meat is still there, and nothing decayed. That's because they putting poison, okay, different preservatives, and just poison, flat out poison in the food. Because food is supposed to go bad, but not honey. Okay, and that was done naturally. Esau didn't come and do no weird shit to make the honey just stay like that. No, man. The Lord did it, man. Okay, so honey is forever lively. And the kingdom will be forever lively. It would never go down. It would never get spoiled. Think about that. Think about that, man. That is heavy when you think about it. Okay, let's read it again. Numbers 14 and 8. If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. And also, what comes from milk? Butter. Okay, butter comes from milk. That's why if I go back to Isaiah chapter 7, verse 15, it says, butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse evil and choose the good. Okay, so I want to make that quick point. Okay, so that's very, very spiritual if you think about it. And you can extract that and think about your physical. Okay, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 14. Let's start at I get to the point, verse 24. It says, and the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on my enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come into the wood, behold, the honey dropped, but no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in a honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Now the main point that I'm reading is what? Honey was not just something that, in our heritage that we just grabbed because we felt sick. Okay, it was food, man. Let's say it again. It was not just because we felt sick. It was food, okay, that kept us from getting sick. All right, catch that, man. It was sweet, good to the taste, good for your body, good for your blood, your organs, right? The nourishment of your body. Okay, it was food, man. Like the scripture said, John, his only food was what? Honey and locusts. Okay, every day. That's what he ate. Okay, you don't think he was healthy? Of course he was. Of course he was, man. All right. So right there, that's just a point, man. Let's go to Numbers chapter 16. Let's start at verse 10. And this is when Moses in the wilderness with Jake, man, and Jake being so stiff-necked. Let's start at verse 11. I'll get to the point. It says, "For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you murmur against him?" Okay, so you picture Jake's mad and murmuring in the wilderness because they felt they had it better in Egypt. Like, why are we following y'all, man? Okay, who are y'all? Stiff-necked Jake, man. Unfaithful Jake. Verse 12. "And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, We will not come up." Verse 13. "Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us out of the land that floweth with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness?" Do you hear this? Stiff-necked, rebellious ass Jake. Okay, how you going to refer to the land of milk and honey like back in Egypt, man? Are you crazy? Are you out your damn mind? Okay, so in other words, they were saying you took us out from the land of goodness. We were doing good. We were chilling. And now we're in the wilderness with your ass? That's what they said to Moses. Let's keep reading. I start back from the top. "Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us?" Okay, so that lets you know that what? The land of milk and honey is the kingdom of heaven, man, period. Okay, but that shows you how low-minded our people can be, how unfaithful our people can be, and stiff-necked our people can be, to even compare the two. Okay, because when you read Exodus 33 chapter, I'll get it real quick. The Lord is talking about taking us to the land of milk and honey, but because we stiff-necked, he ain't going to do it. And you got our people saying we want to go back to the land of milk and honey, which is in Egypt, which is utterly ridiculous. Let's go to Exodus 33. Let's start at verse 1. It says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Depart and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, Unto thy seed will I give it. And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way." Right. Man, okay, so y'all get the point, man. All right, you got to think about it, man. When you talk about your health and what the scriptures say, okay, the scriptures highlight honey in a big way if you can spiritually see it the way it's written. It highlights honey in a big way for us as a daily food for our nourishment in our body and our health. It's good to our bones. It's good to our organs. It's good to our blood. Okay, it's lively. It does not spoil at all. And our kingdom will not spoil at all. It will not be spoiled. Okay, now let's end it on this. Because everything has to be done in balance, right? You can't, water is good, but if you drink too much water, it can kill you, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 25, verse 16. It says, "Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee." Okay, again, we're supposed to eat it. Okay, eat it to, as much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit. Right. Okay, so you got to balance it. Okay, but I use that to say in general, man. That goes with life in general. Things got to be done wisely and in balance. Okay, but to have a daily intake of honey is a great thing. Okay, a daily intake is a great thing. Maybe you have it with tea. I do it with, matter of fact, I'll say that for a part 2. Okay, so I can get into it really, what I've been doing. Okay, so Lord willing, I might do that if the Spirit has me do it. But hopefully you were edified, man. Eat honey, man. Raw honey. All right, with that, I hope you're edified. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the Spirit, to do this lesson. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you Akim out there that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.